In the animal kingdom, gorillas often greet each other with a hug. Certain species of penguins propose to their partner with a pebble. Female lions do all the hunting for their family. Orcas live with their parents their whole lives. While every family is different and every family is unique, the truth is, they're still our fam.
Hello everybody and welcome back to this edition of Kid Zone, the Christian education moment designed for the entire family. And we've been talking about fam for the past couple of weeks. And I want you to look at these pictures from the movie Frozen 2. And I wonder what you're thinking, like, what do these pictures have to do with fam or family? Well, sometimes family looks different. We said it a couple of weeks ago, you may not necessarily live with your mom or your dad, or maybe you live in the household with the grandmother or grandfather or aunt or uncle or someone really close to you. Maybe you've been adopted or in foster care. We have so many beautiful types of families out there now that God has us all designed in different spaces, and it is okay. Sometimes our families looks different and you don't have the kind of family that everyone else has. It's okay. Your family isn't the only one that looks different, and the family you have may not be the family that you want. Maybe you're sitting there and you don't have anyone that you can possibly depend on or think of as your family. Well, family doesn't always look the way we think it will look. Sometimes family dynamics change. People make different decisions, and it causes our family, what we know it, to look different. And that's hard. That's tough because we sometimes want to hold on or long for what we think to be perfect. And sometimes that picture or that glimpse of what life that we want or our family we want doesn't always exist. Again, you're not the only one. In the Bible, there's a story about two friends named David and Jonathan. David and Jonathan both came from two different types of families. David ends up leaving his family at an early age in order to go and serve Saul, who was the king. Saul's son was Jonathan. Okay, again, two different families, Jonathan and David. But further along in the story of Jonathan and David, although they were friends, Saul, Jonathan's father, wants to kill David. Oh my gosh, doesn't that become the most complicated situation? Well, even though they were dealing with all that drama, the Bible says that David and Jonathan's relationship, their friendship, grew. The Bible says, and Jonathan made a solemn pact with David because he loved him as he loved himself. Sometimes friends are more like family. They're the family members, they're the family or the friends like family that we can always laugh with, we can joke with, we can have experiences with, they can be there with us when we sometimes make our mistakes and do things that we shouldn't do. Those friends that are really, really close like family are those who have a inside access to things that maybe everyone else doesn't see. We are blessed with people in our lives. God creates relationships for all of us, and sometimes we need those friends who are like family to give us the energy to keep moving forward. I'm thinking about today, one of my friends who are just like family, who I consider to be one of my sisters. We have grown up together in the church and we have served together in YPD, and now as adults we're working together to further God's kingdom. But yet we still share good experiences. We travel together, we hang out, we eat with one another, we watch television shows with one another, we go and watch movies and go celebrate things. And I want to just shout out to my friend who's like my sister, Rayvon, and I have other sister friends as well, because I don't have blood sisters of my own. But I thank God that we have family who sometimes, even though they may not be born into our lives, they enter into our lives in special places. So what does that mean for us today? It means that we have to recognize the blessings that God has in our lives. And if that's you out there who maybe you have someone who you think of like, yeah, I have a friend who's like a close family member of mine, send them a text, reach out and email them or call them or FaceTime them or invite them on some type of virtual gathering, or if you're able to safely social distance, go out and spend time to let them know how much you appreciate them. But if you don't have someone in your life, I want to recommend Jesus. Jesus also had a lot of friends who were like family. He considered these friends his brothers, and possibly also the other disciples, his sisters. He had 12 disciples that we know in the Bible who were like friends of his, but he also had a lot of other friends who were like family, who were also women, Mary and Martha as well. And Jesus, like all of us, who was in relationship and friendship with those who were close to him like family and friends, modeled a true example of what it was like to be able to journey with someone in our lives. We all need people around us to help us to grow into who God calls us and wants us to be. If you don't have a friend like family and you desire to get connected to friends, well, come on and join what we have here in the AME Church. One of our churches will be able to help cultivate and get you developed and surrounded by friends who can be like family. If that's you and you want to get connected, text 484848. Text Yet Alive. That's YETALIVE to the number 484848, and we will get you connected to a family, the family of God, so that you don't have to journey alongside by yourself. Well, isn't that great? I feel better. I'm going to go out and text my friend right now and hit her up and say, hey, let's go for brunch today. Reminding you that you have a family indeed here in the 7th District and also even larger in the world as people and family members of God. Thank you so much for joining us again this week for this edition of Kids Zone. I am Reverend Sam, and it's been a pleasure to minister to you all this past couple of weeks of FAM. I want to remind you that what the shirt says, to go out and vote November 3rd, or you can vote early now at your local area for early voting. All right, take care and see you next week.